Okay, guys, hello and good morning, everyone. Sorry for the little pause because my camera stopped working. But yeah, we're back on track. I'm back on track. Look, easy markets. Daily Picture International. Today is the 20th of June, 2023. So we have welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session. The last session for this week. Because again, I'm going to be on a break and I will return on Thursday. So, no, next week's Thursday. So, like I said, this is the last trading session, or not trading session, but like analysis session, our Daily Pitch International for this week. So yeah, guys, before we go further, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear here from that little left corner in there, and I'll come back to you in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. So guys, without further ado, let's jump into the charts. Oh, and as you can see, I'm back with my glasses because, again, I think that it didn't really work out for me well without the glasses. Well, you know, we can only try. But look, Nikkei 225. Okay. Oh, before I go further, I can see there is a comment in the chat room. Good morning to you too, Winston76. Good morning to everyone else as well who's joining in. Just bear with me. Let me just drop it in there. Good morning, everyone. So there we go. I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Tuesday. So Nikkei 225, we're seeing a bit of a recovery here. Look, in general, what I was kind of hoping here to see maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. And so far, it seems to be working out. Yes, we're seeing a bit of a retracement right now today. We're seeing a push higher, but I think that that's kind of is driven by industrial production number that came out from Japan, and that came out as a nice surprise because, look, the previous number adjusted was plus 0.3. The expectation was for a minus 0.4. It came out at plus 0.7. So good result. Good indicator, and yep, we're seeing a bit of positivity now. Okay, they can enjoy the moment. The bulls can enjoy the moment, but I think that maybe there is a bit of room for some correction to the downside. So the U.S. comes back into action today. Let's see how that's going to play out, but I'll pick up on the U.S. in a bit. But if that starts selling off or not selling off or just sliding lower, then, well, we could expect the Nikkei futures also drifting nicely to the downside, and then maybe this scenario of mine will work out. Maybe we'll see a nice drift towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 11th of May. Now, if that gets broken, of course, yes, we'll go lower, but we'll go slowly on this. We're not going to rush into anything. If you're not really comfortable with this scenario here, with the let's say with the upside, let's say going long from a rebound here, that's absolutely fine, and I feel you, because again, maybe the ideal scenario here could be to wait for a pop above the 33,850 territory, then aim for that psychological 34,000 mark. And if that gets cleared, then yes, we could go further north. ASX 200. So beautiful continuation move to the upside. My target got reached, 7,315. Fantastic. Team, we're heading home. Right? Well, in a way, kind of, yeah, because look, I got my target, and I said to you previously that if we do break the upper side of this falling channel, which also could be seen as a something of a maybe bullish flag or something like that, like it's not really a bullish flag. No, it's more of another nice technical analysis theory is that, let's say if we do have a falling channel here, the prevailing trend was to the upside before entering this this falling channel, and that means that there is a good chance we could see a breakout here to the upside, and this is what this is exactly what happened. We got that breakout, so now the question is, can we go further north? Well, I would go slowly on this, to be honest. Again, the same thing as with, like I said, with Nikkei. If, let's say, the US starts declining, then yeah, that's not going to be very good. And for the bulls here, and we could see it, a drift back down. We could see this breakout above the 7,315 level as a false breakout. So just let's keep that in mind. So at this point, look, if everything stays the same, yes, I am aiming higher, and as long as we continue to trade above the 7,315 territory, yes, I am pushing towards the upside. My next ideal target is the area just slightly above that 7,400 zone. So around 7,404, 7, something like that. Now, China 50. China 50, yeah. This one declined, and basically, I think that the whole point is today we had the PBoC LPR rate decision, so loan prime rate. I think that's how it's translated. Loan prime rate. Loan prime rate, it came down by 10 basis points. So if you remember yesterday, I told you about this. I said to keep your eyes on it because last week we had a cut in the short-term one, the 1 year medium-term lending facility rate. So look, last week we had a cut in that one. So it was a good indication that there is a possibility for a cut as well. The expectation was for a cut already as well. So yeah, I mean, yesterday when I was talking about this one, there was no expectation, but I think the forecast came in later after my video. So yeah, I've seen that one. So the expectation was for a cut. So we got a cut, and yeah, everything's kind of in line. And you can see that the China 50 index is drifting nicely to the downside a little bit. But hey, as I said before, that I will continue just monitoring this here as it is, because again, I need to see a clear break through one of my trend lines before considering the next short-term directional move. It's the same story as with the FTSE, to which I'm going to get to in a bit. But yeah, this point, like I said, is just not very, maybe the most exciting thing. But hey, once it gets closer to one of these trend lines, now that's when it could become a little bit more interesting. Nasdaq 100. So look, I've talked about this, so I'm kind of still somewhere deep in me. I am looking for a nice retracement. So the fact that we fell below the this area right here, this area between the 15,000, or actually around the 15,260 zone, the fact that we fell below it, this kind of opened the door, or potentially could open the door now towards some lower levels. And as long as we stay below that hurdle, I am aiming for that 23.6% retracement here on the Fibonacci, which is drawn from the low of the 25th of April to the high of the 16th of June. Look, some of you might say, but hey, Darius, why not look at this as a possible bullish flag? Yes, in a way, that's correct as well. This could be seen as a bullish flag, but in that case, I need to see a clear break above this barrier right there. Actually, let me clear up this chart, because I think there's too much too much of everything, and there are too many lines here. So let's actually do it the other way. So I'm going to mark this for now, this upside support line, which I believe is quite an interesting one, because eventually, let's say if we do correct nicely to the downside here, then maybe this 50-day EMA could coincide somehow, you know, by accident, just like out of nowhere. And we could see a test of that. Maybe this little hurdle also could play out. Look at this fantastic little area of support. A lot of ifs. Let's go from what we have right now. So yeah, we have something of a possible pole. We have something of a possible bullish flag. Yes, this could be the case, but I would probably wait for a push above the 15,475 territory in order to go higher, because a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed then. I'm going to bring back those two levels that I've mentioned recently, the 15,260 area. Let me just put this on the chart. So, yeah, I think I can. No. This I don't like. No. Yep, this I like. So 15,260. Yep, that's what I'm keeping a close eye on. So if we do continue to trade below it, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. Now, one of the things here to consider as well, maybe this Fibonacci is working out, so we're not far from this 23.6. Okay, so this Fibonacci could be also an interesting one, but we're very close already, so might as well just take it away. But I think that this could be the next one to consider. Yes, so the 23.6 is near the 14,850 level of mine here, so I'm going to aim for that if as long as we stay below the 15,260 zone. And as I said before, if I want to go higher, I want to push above this 15,475 territory. I want to be on the safe side, guys. I don't want to rush into anything, because we did, with the upside, basically, we already did have a good, decent up move. Maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. So yeah, that's, like I said, that's something that I'm keeping in mind. And again, a bullish flag, okay, that's quite obvious. And I kind of mentioned before that with obvious things, look, if everybody sees it, then you're not alone. And, you know, then kind of the market also sees that. And if to put it into simplistic ways, the market kind of goes against, you know, against you again. Well, you're never, you know, all this is a nice casino, right? In general, in a way. You're betting on red and black. But we are trying to apply some sort of logic to everything. So, and if you do know economics, then you can kind of, you know, guide your way through it. But in general, in a way, it still is a bit of a gamble. So sometimes you don't know exactly where it's going to go. I mean, nobody knows, but you can only have a hint, or, you know, you can have, like, you can read the data, read the economic numbers, and this way you can judge your, you know, decisions and judge yourself and then make your decisions. So that's why, guys, I am always trying to risk only what I can afford to lose. I always have my stop loss in place. And in this case, look, I have my doubts. That's my personal approach. Whenever everybody else sees it, that means, you know, it could work out in a different way. So even though it seems like logical. So look, it seems like a bullish flag. Okay, yes, it could be the case. But I would rather wait for a push above the 15,475 territory right here in order to go higher. If for now, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside because we're trading below the 15,260 territory of mine here, which I find quite an important one to watch. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, similar story again, like something like a bullish flag here, but again, it doesn't stop it from, you know, potentially going even lower. So if you're looking for some lower levels, you do still have some room here. Because again, as I said before, once we break the, you know, an important trend line or something, we do tend to revisit it from the other side. And in this case right now, it seems like we're on the right track. Now, another thing that supports my idea here to the downside is Look, I do like coincidental moves here, and in a way, this scenario is really, really like a nice coincidence. So, in other words, if we do drift lower here, test the downside, the broken downside line, we could also test this upside line, and then we could rebound from here and push nicely to the upside. So, long story short, guys, for now, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but if we do start pushing back up here, maybe let's say if we do climb, I would say somewhere above this territory, somewhere above this inside swing low of the 16th of June, near the 34,587, then yes, we could get more excited with the upside. At this point, I'm just observing this one, and I'm kind of cautiously leaning towards the downside. Look, if we wanna draw a Fibonacci from here somewhere, we can see that we broke the 23. But again, you see, my problem with the Fibonacci is that at this point, I think it's a little bit subjective. Well, in general, actually, everything is subjective. But look, this 23.6 actually coincides nicely with my hurdle here, with this area that I spoke about previously, this breakout point, this 34,363. Okay, that's good. Look, I talked about this before. That's the highest point of May. Good potential target in a way. Let's see if we can reach that and we can test that. The German index, DAX, looking at the picture here, we had a beautiful retracement here. I talked about this and I said that if we do stay above the 16,374 territory, then there is a good chance we could see something like this, like a rebound and a push back up. But we fell below it, and then now the question is, can we break this upside line? So, long story short, guys, I am kind of leaning towards the downside, but in order to get, like I said, comfortable with further declines, I need to see a break of that upside line. If we do rebound from it, then yes, the bulls could pick up, but I'm really not going to get way too bullish yet because again, for me to get bullish, I think at this point, I would need to see a pop above the all-time high. Yep, 16,571. All this area for me at this point is just something that I'm going to be observing. If we do break the upside line, great, I'll go lower. The FTSE 100. The FTSE 100, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, again, it continues to do the same thing. Continues to oscillate around this 200-day EMA, and it's stuck in between my trend lines here until I get a clear breakout here through one of my trend lines. I'm not really going to get comfortable with any direction. Let's jump into the dollar index straight away, guys. So yesterday we had a nice push here to the upside, and look at this. I talked about this little hurdle here, the 102.24. But what I said to you as well yesterday, that if we do push above the 102 zone, yes, I'll consider maybe a bit of a move higher. But ideally, I would like to see a break above this 102.24. Now, we're not getting that. And this area, this hurdle is just proving to be quite an important area of resistance. So if we do, let's say, push above this 102.24 territory, then yes, I will get comfortable with some higher levels. Then I'll aim for that 50-day EMA or even maybe, higher. But at this point, we are below still this 102.24 territory. If we start falling back below the 102 zone here, then yes, we could maybe start considering maybe a bit of a move lower here, because again, maybe this is a bearish flag or something like that. But as I said to you yesterday, that if it is a bearish flag, then I would like to see a break of this upside line and a drop below this 101.66 territory, somewhere around here. So in this case, yes, more sellers could join in. But at this point, like I said, it's very tricky. So from the very short-term perspective, as I said, you can keep an eye on this 102 zone. If we do fall below it, then yes, it kind of increases the chances for a possible move further south here. But still, we would have to be very careful just in case, some sort of news kicks in that, suddenly this kind of, it reverses nicely this US dollar to the upside. Today, by the way, in terms of economic data, we do get the building permits and the housing starts from the US. So the housing starts are the main ones. The building permits are the preliminary ones. So keep your eyes on that. Also, according to the economic calendar, the FOMC member Bullard speaks today. So, okay, that could maybe shift the market a little bit, but we'll see. Let's not rush into anything, guys, but check out the economic calendar for that. If that's correct. So, yeah, if he's going to be talking, maybe we could see some activity. But yeah, the main focus, of course, will be on tomorrow. Tomorrow and I think Thursday as well. So tomorrow, yes, we do have a bunch of data coming out from UK, especially like the CPI numbers. But I'll get to that in a bit with a pound. We do get the Fed Chair Powell testifying, I think tomorrow and on Thursday as well. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. I mean, we could see some shifts. So, jumping into gold, guys. So, if you remember yesterday, we had a bit of a debate here with gold. That's why I keep an eye on my daily charts. So, I can't remember who was saying that, the gold will go higher today, or maybe yesterday, it will go higher, but on the contrary, this is what happened. So we tested my 100-day EMA, so that's perfect. We pierced through it a little bit. We found some support on a 4-hour chart. When somebody was asking me for the 4-hour chart, look, we did drift lower, right? I mean, we found support. Let me just see if there's any logic in all this. We found support somewhere around here, but actually I would be probably keeping an eye on this 1940 zone. But hey, we found support here. Okay, that's fine. I'll get rid of this, but I'll jump back into my daily because again, the 4-hour chart for me is a little bit too crowded. And now at this point, also look, maybe we could be seeing here a nice possible bullish flag. Either way, as long as we remain inside the falling channel pattern, I am leaning towards the downside. If we do clear the upper side of the falling channel, okay, that's great. We could go higher, but let's not rush into anything. And that's why, like I said, I like to stick to my daily charts, and because I can see the clear picture here. So, if you're, let's say, eager already to take action to the upside, well, you could keep an eye on that 1954-55 territory right here. But then you have to remember that, yeah, if we do go higher, excuse me. Oh, let me just drink some tea. Oh, my voice went down a little bit. So just have to remember one thing, that if you want to go higher, yes, there could be a possibility to go there, but we have the upper side of the falling channel, which could be an obstacle. Now, some of you might say, but hey, maybe if we already start moving above this hurdle, this could be the start of the confirmation of a possible bullish flag. You are not wrong there. This could be the case, but again, you have to wait for it. If you want to, let's say, try to gamble it from here, okay. If your account allows you to do that, whatever, guys, you know yourselves better. You know your accounts better. But the only thing is that, first of all, of course, as I keep on mentioning all the time, a stop loss, just in case, for example, this suddenly starts popping lower here, and let's say it falls below this 1945 territory or something like that, and then it kind of takes you out here and then reverses back up and then goes in your direction. So we have seen this happening several times, and that's why I tend to kind of wait for a better confirmation and then do something about it. At this point, I'm just observing the price action. Maybe, like I said, I will consider the bullish scenario here, as long as we stay above the 100-day EMA, and then we at least start popping above the 1955 territory. I'm not to mention the break of this upper side of the falling channel. Then yes, I will get more excited with with higher levels. Silver now. Silver is also still stuck. Okay, at least it's stuck near its downside line. So that means that there is hope that we could see a nice pop here to the upside, and we could see a move towards that, 24.20 zone or this 24.53. But I think that, yeah, I will start looking at some higher levels if we do break this downside line. For the downside, guys, well, a drop below this 100-day EMA may do the trick and may open the door towards some lower levels. We could see a move towards that 23.25 level or even this 200-day EMA. Simple as that. Oil, guys. Oil, looking at the picture here, we're still kind of positive. We're still trading above that 71 territory. So in a way, there is still hope that we could see a nice push higher. Yesterday, we did get that, but look at how well this barrier played out. The 72 territory, I spoke about that level as well yesterday, and also that 50-day EMA. So if you're looking for some higher levels at this point, I would say the easier option is to wait for a pop above the 72 territory and then, yeah, aim for the 100-day EMA. This could kind of probably simplify our lives a little bit. For the downside, I would like to see a break of this, short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 12th of June. If we do get that, I'm not saying that from here, that's it, the door opens to, to hell and we're all drifting lower. No, there are a bunch of levels that we will still kind of keep an eye on. But again, if we do break this upside line, and I think this level right here, the 70.49, the one that I talked about previously, actually, I think it's time maybe to shift it a little bit. I think this could be a little bit better here, and to get with this whole area, our area around that psychological 70 zone. Yep, I think that's the case. Yep, there we go. So, yep, that's what I'm going to keep an eye on, actually. And if we do break below this 70 territory, at the same time, yes, we would already be placed below this upside line. So, but again, depending on when that could happen. So yeah, if we do drop below this, then yes, I will go lower. Natural gas, just a quick update. Look, I'm gonna talk about a few instruments here, some exotic ones, but look, I do like to look at them because again, they do provide sometimes with nice opportunities. And I said to you that last week that we broke the downside line on this one here, and that kind of opens the door towards some higher levels. And look, at this point, I am aiming for that psychological 3 level as long as we continue to trade above the 100-day EMA. If we do somehow start falling back below it, okay, back to the drawing board. Maybe we'll, go and revisit this broken downside line. But for now, it seems like there is a good chance we could see a move further north. But by further north, I mean I'm not targeting actually even the 200-day EMA. I'm targeting the psychological 3 level first. Copper, something that you probably don't look at very often, but it's quite an interesting one. So, overall, what we can see here is that, yes, we are pushing higher right now, and we seem to be breaking the EMAs, or at least recently it seemed like that, but I can see that there is a bit of a problem. Now, we did cross the 50-day EMA, crossed the 100 and then the 200, and now it continues to trade below it. Look, at the moment, I'm kind of leaning towards the downside because, again, like I said, on this daily chart, you can see that, yeah, we're still, if I want to go higher, I would like to see maybe the 50-day EMA coming back above the 200-day EMA. But if that's not going to happen, and we're just going to, stall somewhere around here, then I think that there could be more downside to come, especially if this one starts recovering to the upside. So yeah, something to keep in mind, guys, this US dollar here. So if this starts pushing back up, then yep, we could expect copper here and some other commodities drifting nicely to the downside. Another thing to mention, of course, is a rising channel pattern, a potential one here. So As long as we stay inside the pattern, yes, the trend is to the upside. However, if we start breaking one of the sides, then yes, then let me just make it a nicer one here. I think something around this, yeah, could be better. I just want to capture some of these peaks. Okay, so you can see this one, right? I mean, if we do break the lower side of the rising channel, then yep, that could be a cue for the sellers to step in and move nicely to the downside. At this point, I'm observing this one. As I said before, as long as we remain inside a pattern, we could still drift higher. So that's why I'm still kind of cautiously bullish. But if we start breaking the lower side of the rising channel, then that's where I will, get comfortable with the downside. And then this is where my idea here could work out with the EMAs. Look, there is a bit of room still left for the upside on this one, just because we have something around this. So if we do want to end up testing this downside line, then yes, this upside move could be perfect here within the rising channel. But again, it doesn't mean that we have to exactly test this downside line. Maybe just will be enough for a bit of a correction here. So if you're a little bit on the careful side and the cautious side, you could keep an eye on this barrier, the current highest point of June near the 3.9270, and then yes, we could go from there. Sugar, something nice and sweet. Look, sugar. It's pushing nicely to the upside. I do look at this occasionally, and at the moment I'm looking at this from the EMA perspective. We rebounded from the EMA. We oscillated a little bit around the EMAs, and then we pushed above it, back above it, and we're now seeing a nice push higher. Why it's so attractive to me and why I'm leaning towards the upside is because we broke actually this key important downside line, and we broke it today. Well, sorry, we broke it yesterday, but today we're kind of in full sitting above it. So in a way, I am now leaning towards further upside, and I'm going to be aiming for this 27.08 territory. And then, yes, I'm going to go from there. If we do clear that one, okay, further upside could be possible here. If by any chance we drift back below this downside line, that's where it could become interesting for sellers. Yes, we could see a nice drift lower. But I think that in my opinion, and in my case, actually, I would wait until we would get a drop somewhere below this territory, below this 25 zone, because this way, a drop below the 50-day EMA could happen as well. And this may open the door to some lower levels, like, for example, the current lowest point of June. Now, let's jump into Bitcoin. This one is pushing nicely to the upside. Quietly just drifting to the upside. So after we broke below this hurdle, look, I talked about this, and I have to admit that it didn't really work out as planned. But hey, unfortunately, we have to kind of take the blame, not the blame, but take the hit, and unfortunately that's the game we're playing here. So initially I was saying that if we do stay below this 200-day EMA, this could open the door towards that upside support line drawn from the low of the 30th of December of 2022. Well, we did kind of climb back above this 200-day EMA, stayed above it, and drifted nicely to the upside. We broke, but one thing that's working out here for me is that I said to you that if we break this short-term tentative downside resistance line, taken from the high of the 29th of May, then yes, I will consider a next move towards this other downside line drawn from the high of the 14th of April. And yep, so far it's going nicely here. So the question now for me is, can we break this downside line and go higher? Well, I'll wait for that. If we do get that break, then yes, I will go higher. I'm not really trying to overcomplicate my life here with the cryptos at the moment, because again, there's still a roller coaster ride right now. Just you need some sort of some SEC headlines, where they are attacking cryptos, and then yeah, we could get something. We could get some sort of moves. Litecoin. So this one's also interesting, and looking at this picture here, I mean, Okay, it seems like maybe we're on the verge of creating an inverted head and shoulders pattern here. But either way, to be honest, head and shoulders pattern or not, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to watch this whole territory with a bunch of levels, this whole area right there. If we do clear it, great, I will go to the upside. I don't really have a clear level, but if you want to be a little bit more on the careful side, maybe just a push above that psychological 80 territory might do the trick for some buyers. I don't know. Again, for me at least, it would do the trick, because then I will get a little bit more comfortable with the upside. So all this mess here, it might not work. It might just be like a bit of noise here. So if you are comfortable with this, feel free. But if you're not, I suggest you wait this one out and wait for some better times. Now, also, what I don't want to see here, by the way, is something of a falling channel forming. So like basically around the lines of this, but again, this is not really ideal. So yeah, let's maybe ignore that falling channel. Look, again, I'm not rushing with the upside yet because I want to see if this area gets cleared. If it gets, great, I will go a little bit higher. Let's jump into a few pairs, guys, very quickly before, again, I run out of time. AUDUSD, fantastic move. I talked about this and my idea worked out. So yesterday I said to you that I'm watching this territory, this 23.6, together with this highlighted zone right here. And yep, it worked out. So I got that move. I got that push. And yeah, if we do kind of stay above this highlighted zone here, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit of a rebound here and push back up. If we do drop below this territory, below the 0.87, or should I say 0.68 territory, if we do fall below it and stay below it, I'll go a little bit lower towards that 200-day EMA, and then we'll see. We'll go from there. Maybe we'll test even the 38.2. But at this point, like I said, guys, keep your eyes on this. Maybe we'll get a rebound. I don't know. But if we do stall here, then maybe, yes, there is a possibility for something like that happening and a move maybe back to the upside here towards the current highest point of June. So AUDJPY, similar story, good, nice move here. I talked about it. My 23.6 got reached. My 96.57 got reached as well. Now what's next? Well, again, the same story. If we do drop and stay below the 23.6, I'm leaning towards the 38.2, which is roughly around that 95.50 territory. Yeah, honestly, that's like, there's not much to talk about here because again, it's working out so far. If for me to go higher, I need to see a push above this barrier, above this area, this 97.42, 43 zone, or maybe even ideally, actually a push above this area. Let me just grab a line. Let me just grab one of the old ones here. Always recycle, guys. There we go. Above this 97.68. If we do clear that one, then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with the upside. AUDCAD, just a quick update. Boom, there we go. We broke the upside line, and now we're drifting nicely to the downside. So we reached my EMAs. We got a hold up near this 50-day EMA, but actually, if we do continue to slide below it, then yes, my next target is the 0.8944 territory. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 0.9107, and then yes, we will get comfortable with higher levels. USDJPY, very important barrier right here, this 142.24. I talked about it, and I said to you yesterday that I need to see a clearance of that in order to go higher. At this point, this is providing fantastic resistance, so there's not much to talk about this one until we get a nice, good, clear break above this. Once we get that, then yes, I'll aim for higher levels. For the downside, I am taking a very conservative approach here, and I'm waiting for a break of this upside line drawn from the low of the 11th of May. If I get that, then yes, I will consider a move lower. USDCHF, so far so good. I've mentioned this yesterday. I said to you that, look, as long as we stay below the 0.8986, there is still a good chance for this one to drift lower. Well, we are moving nicely to the upside. As long as, like I said, if we continue to trade here below this, then yes, I will consider a move to the downside. If we do start pushing back above the 50-day EMA, and this point I will actually consider the 50-day EMA as my kind of gateway towards some higher levels. If we do climb above this 50-day EMA, my next target is the 100-day EMA right here. USDCAD, also something beautiful happening here. Look, we stayed below this, we stayed initially below this highlighted zone. I talked about it. This is roughly between the 1.3290 and, sorry, 1.3209 and the 1.3226. We're now climbing back up, but actually I think it's time, it's time to focus on this downside line instead. If this continues to provide resistance, then yes, and I will continue aiming lower. But if that gets broken, yes, there is a chance for a move. There is a chance for a move to the upside, but then we do have a bunch of obstacles which we'll have to take care of first in order to, let's say, continue going higher. But if those still provide resistance, maybe a decline back down could be possible. Okay, US dollar against the Chinese yuan. Look, I haven't looked at this for quite a while, but a while ago it did work out nicely when I was targeting that 7 level. I think now it's time to remove all the drawings and start fresh. First of all, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark this upside line right here. It's a tentative one, don't get me wrong, but I think that it kind of currently almost coincides nicely with my 200-day EMA, so that's why I like it. From the shorter term perspective, if you want to go further north, look, 7.1922 territory is something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. That's the current highest point of June. If we clear that one, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, where my next target is the 7.2573 marked by the highest point of actually not November, no, the highest point, the high of the 28th of November of 2022. If you're looking for some downside on this one, well, this is the tricky bit. I think that maybe a drop somewhere below this 7.1041 territory would be ideal, because what I don't want to see here is, let's say this one's starting to move sideways here and creating something of a range. That's why I'm going to have this wide area for this pair to walk freely. And once we start clearing one of my levels here, then yes, that's where I'm going to get comfortable with the next short-term directional move. GBPJPY, guys, so far so good. Look, I talked about this one, and it's nicely drifting to the downside. So we retested this recent high here, this recent high territory near the 182 zone, and now we're drifting back down. Look, from the very short-term perspective, I think that this barrier, yesterday's low, could work out nicely, the 181.22. If we do fall below it and stay below it, then yes, I will go lower. I will consider a move towards that 23.6% retracement here on the Fibonacci. And then I'll just take it from there. I'll go slowly. Up. My Fibonacci here is drawn from this area. So something around here. So yeah, if we do, like I said, if we do drop below this 181.22, then yep, 23.6, here we come, potentially. And if that gets clear, then yes, further declines are possible. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 182 zone right here. And then, yes, I will consider some higher levels. GBPUSD, also near the 23.6 right now. And the question is, can we go lower? Well, I am going to keep an eye on it. Yesterday, we came very close to testing that area. So Now the question is, can we, like I said, can we break that? Well, look, I'm just taking a simplistic approach on this one, and if we do drop below that 1.20, or should I say, this 23.6% retracement here, which is near the 1.2763 zone, somewhere around here. If we do fall below it, then yes, I'll go slowly to the downside. Initially 38.2, then the 50. Euro CHF, also beautiful tease. What can I say? Look at this. I said to you yesterday that honestly, this is a bit of a pain in the bottom, but as long as it stays above this highlighted zone, I'm leaning towards the upside, where my next target is the 100-day EMA, and that got reached and tested, and now we're kind of almost testing that again. So if you want to go further north, guys, I mean, I would like to see a push above the 0.9795 territory again, or maybe even better, 0.98 zone. If we do clear that one, then yes, I think let me just redraw this. So if we do clear that 0.98 territory, then yes, at the same time, we would be pushed above the 100-day EMA, and more buyers could join in. So something like this could be possible. EURNZD, this one's also looking quite nice, and this one actually looks a little bit more like a bullish flag, because again, we have something like this. Maybe it was a nice, let me just bring it back here. Maybe it was something of a nice kind of falling channel here. I think it's, to be a little bit more accurate. There we go. There we go. So we broke the flag, or I mean the falling channel, the upper side of it, and this falling channel is kind of part of a possible bullish flag. So now it kind of, I would say I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside, as long as we stay above the upper side of the falling channel and the 50-day EMA. If that's the case, then yes, my next target is this hurdle right here, the highest point of May near the 1.7838, and that gets clear. The next target is the 1.8083. For the downside, I would like to consider maybe some lower levels if we do fall back below the 50-day EMA, and then yes, we could drift back maybe inside to this falling channel, and we could start considering maybe some lower levels again. And finally, Euro USD, guys. So beautiful correction here. So tested my 23.6. We rebounded from it. Now the question is, can we go a little bit lower? For this, I'm going to draw my Fibonacci all the way here. And this 23.6, because again, this reached perfectly my area. So the 23.6, something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on, and that's very near my upside line, drawn from the low of the 7th of June. So if we do fall, let's say, below the 1.09 territory, or 1.0910, something like that, then yes, we could consider a move, a nice move here to the downside, a larger correction to the downside, where we could test the upside support line drawn from the low of the this 7th of June. If you're not really comfortable with that scenario and you want to look at some higher levels, then you would, well, in that case, just wait for a push above the 1.0970. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high and potentially could attract more buyers into the game. But at this point, like I said, I am considering maybe a bit more retracement here to the downside. But again, only if this pushes higher. If by any chance, the XY starts drifting to the downside, then we could see a nice pop here, maybe on Euro USD. So let's see how this is going to play out, of course. But if you think that you've missed out on a move here, don't worry. You can wait this one out. You can keep an eye, like I said, on this 1.0910 territory, somewhere around here. From the very short-term perspective, let's say for today. So basically, just a second, somebody tried to come in right now, and into my studio here. But anyway, I think somebody's trying to get in and trying to do a show here. But look, coming back to the euro dollar, I think that, yeah, that's going to be my game plan for today. If we do drop below the 1.0910 territory, I will consider a larger correction here to the downside. Then yes, more buyers, more sellers could join in, and we could see maybe a drift, towards that 23.6 or maybe even a little bit lower. But yeah, let's not rush into anything. Like I said, let's see how the numbers can come out today. Let's see tomorrow. Probably there could be more activity, so just keep that in mind. So guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. I think that there are some people who are eager to come into the studio. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening, guys. Just again, a quick reminder, there's not going to be any Daily Pitch International tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. I will get back to you on Thursday next week. So yep, I hope you have a fantastic trading time in general, days. You'll have fantastic trading days. Stay safe, guys. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose, and everything will be fine. So I hope, like I said, guys, everything will go well. I'll see you in a bit. And yeah, happy trading, happy days, guys. And, stay happy and positive because that's a huge factor for your trading. Yeah, see you next week. Bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.